Brock Nelson! Let me try that again. Brock Nelson will continue to be an Av. A big name comes off the board for NHL Free Agency Day. Let's talk about it. Longtime New York Islander and short-time Colorado Avalanche, Brock Nelson has decided to make his time in Colorado a little bit longer, signing a 3-year contract worth $7.5 million per season. That is kind of a lot. I understand not every Avalanche fan is totally stoked about it, but here's how I think it could work out well and why the Avalanche should have made this decision. First and foremost, for the Avs, this finally stops the bleeding that they've had, the hemorrhaging of picks and assets and everything that they've had since they won the Cup in 2022. So here's the thing. Avs aren't worried about picks or prospects or any of that. They're not worried about it. And this is how they've operated for years. And why not? It's partially how they won a cup in 2022. At the 2022 draft, when the Avalanche were fresh Stanley Cup champions, they had almost literally no picks at the draft. And not a single Avalanche fan cared about it. Their scouting staff probably didn't even care about it. They just look at their shiny rings. Here's the difference. It's a lot easier to sit at the draft table with no picks after winning the Stanley Cup because spending those picks is how you won the Cup. You used those picks to win the Cup. Now, in 2025, they have 2 picks, a 4th and a 7th. They don't have a 1st, don't have a 2nd, don't have a 3rd, don't have a 5th and a 6th. They also don't have a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in 2026. They do have a 1st and a 2nd in 2027, and I'm pretty sure it's as good as gone. And that's a little tougher to swallow when you lose in the first round, albeit in a hard-fought series against a team that went to the Final Four in Dallas. I'm skipping over the Mikko Rantanen stuff to save your feelings. Sorry, I just mentioned him. But after 2022, the Avalanche lost Nazem Kadri. Now, Nazem Kadri was a huge part of that Cup run, and to re-sign him would be buying high. He had an unreal regular season. He had an unreal playoff when he was playing. And you won! Naz went to the Colorado Avalanche, and he cashed in, making less against the cap than Brock Nelson is going to next season. Oh, nuts. But that's hindsight, ifs and buts, candy and nuts, revisionist history. They trade Bowen Byram for Casey Middlestat. That works for a little bit, and then it doesn't. Then you trade a conditional 1st in 2026, a conditional 3rd in 2027, Callum Ritchie, who is one of the better prospects out there, for Brock Nelson. Callum Ritchie, who played in the NHL this past season. He had a goal in 7 games, but he played NHL games. And he used that experience to rip the OHL limb from limb. He only had 15 goals in 45 games in the OHL. Oh, that's not very good, but he had 55 assists! 70 points in 47 games, and he was over a point a game in the playoffs as well, en route to the final. Now, losing those picks and Callum Ritchie for Brock Nelson, and then Nelson walks, that hurts. And it's a lineage of hurt dating back to Nazem Kadri. Now you lock Brock Nelson up, you stop the bleeding. No more hemorrhaging picks, no more looking, and now you have this ridiculous lineup up the middle of Nathan MacKinnon, Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle, who's also awesome, and Jack Drury, who's up and coming and hopefully stops taking penalties. I just want to remind everyone that producer Drew is editing this, and he's very upset. The Nazem Kadri stuff, that's spilt milk. Oh, they should have kept him. Yeah, spilt milk. That's years in the past. The continuation of spending assets and picks and everything else to fill that void, that's not spilt milk. That is still happening. Until today. They lock up Brock Nelson. Who's going to be in that spot? Brock Nelson. Done. Here's the other very legitimate complaint that I'm hearing out of Colorado from Drew. So really from Brampton. Brock Nelson had no finish in these past playoffs. He had 4 points in 7 games, all 4 of them assists. Listen, if there is a large sample size of evidence that a player stinks in the playoffs, that's a red flag. You'll never guess what team I cheer for. With Brock Nelson, this one playoff run where he didn't score, that's the outlier. He had 3 goals in 18 playoff games at the beginning of his career. From 2019 onward, 4 goals in 8 games, 9 goals in 22 games, 7 goals in 19 games, 2 goals in 6 games, 2 goals in 5 games, and then there was this past run. That's 24 goals in his last 67 career Stanley Cup playoff games, which doesn't sound all that impressive. And then you realize that's actually a 29 goal pace over the course of a season, which is roughly what he gives you over the course of a regular season. Like, Brock Nelson is very consistent. Is he on the decline? That's certainly possible. I mean, he's 33. He's going to turn 34 in October. But honestly, I'd be willing to bet that he has a better season next year, even though he's getting older. He's not getting traded in the middle of it. A potentially full season of Gabriel Landeskog on his wing or some other really good player on the Avs is also a possibility that could help. I mean, think of the breakneck difference in style that is for Brock Nelson. This guy spent his entire career with the New York Islanders, who, when they were at their best, were the low-event kings of the NHL. Then he goes to the Avs. I've seen tennis matches with less back and forth than these guys. You give him a full season, I think there's something that could work there. This is what the Avalanche situation looks like in terms of their cap, according to Puckpedia. It's generally pretty healthy. There's a lot of things that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that they didn't get a full season of this. You get a full season of Mackenzie Blackwood now. You get a full season of Brock Nelson. You get a full season of Charlie Coyle. You hopefully get a full season out of Gabriel Landeskog. You definitely get more than 0. Oh, you also get a full season out of Jack Drury. A full season out of Martin Necas. A full no season out of Mikko Rantanen. More good than bad, put it that way. Your center depth is ridiculous. Yeah, you might notice that you don't have a third pair. Also, that's what Makar and Taves are for. Well, they can't do it all by themselves. Yeah, that's what Manson and Girard are for. Listen, every team has work to do heading into the offseason. That's kind of how the offseason works. Looking at the Avs, that's an all right situation to be in, minus the not having any picks. But, like, what do you need picks for? You have a team. Now, there have been rumors about the Avalanche going after a guy like Mitch Marner. I have no idea how they would be able to afford that now. Now, you can make a trade, but even, let's say they trade Martin Necas, who is on the final year of a $6.5 million deal. Now, Martin Necas produces at way higher than a $6.5 million player. It's a really cap-efficient player who could go to a contending team with not a lot of cap space. Can you think of it? Oh, the Avs. But even if they were to trade him for straight up picks, even if they traded him for future considerations, they still couldn't come close to affording Marner. They can barely afford to bring back any of Kiviranta, VC, Drouin. You could trade Manson on the last year of a $4.5 million deal. I have no idea why they would want to. I mean, there's some things they could maybe do. Maybe a Miles Wood. Maybe a Sam Girard. Maybe they do have something more exciting in them. We know that Sakic and McFarland aren't just going to sit on their hands. That's not the way they're wired. But I just don't know how they go big game hunting this summer. We'll have to see. Now, Brock Nelson, who's about to be 34, signs a 3-year deal. That's not going to take him until he's too old. So even if the contract isn't the greatest at the end, it'll be over soon. But a 3-year contract, $7.5 million per for a 34-year-old. What does that mean for Sam Bennett this offseason? And what does that mean for John Tavares? Those, to me, are the two most affected by this. Bennett is obviously the belle of the ball when it comes to centers. And John Tavares, I mean, that guy scored more than Nelson. Same position, similar age. No idea what that next contract looks like, whether it's with the Leafs or someone else. So, what do you think of this deal? What do you think of it for Nelson? What do you think of it for the Avalanche? What do you think of it for anyone else in the league who's a pending free agent? Sam Bennett, John Tavares, throw Matt Duchene in there since I'm talking to a bunch of Avs fans. You'd want him back, right?
Over my dead body.
Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Brock Nelson, for 3 more years, is an Av.